feels good. Yeah, it doesn't. Welcome to What If It Was Week 17 video. Of course, we understand that we actually have an extension of weeks in the NFL season, entering one extra week of football for extra ratings. So let's make this an extraordinary video. Oh my god, why? It has my humor not increased. Okay, so currently looking over in the playoff bracket, teams that has clinched over a first seed, it used to be the Kansas City Chiefs. They knocked over the third. They rotated around for a bit. Baltimore, that used to be third seed like 4 to 5 weeks ago, now they're garnering over 10th over the bubble. So they could have been minutely eliminated from playoff contention, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've fallen third over in the division, below 500. Now they marched over to their division rival, and that would only be if Baltimore can lose to LA next week. I mean, if they lost to LA last week. And they are currently in sub 500 records with the teams that clinched their divisions in the playoff contender: the Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans, the Cincinnati Bengals. That haven't been done since Andy Dalton been the starting quarterback. Buffalo Bills, after a bit of a shortcoming into, actually trying to play good football. And if the season ended today, then we could have still gotten, I think, the Baltimore Ravens in there. No, we could have had the Colts and the LA Chargers. While the Niners are still breaching over success beating Houston and still sub in the playoff bubble. Even win or lose, it looks like New Orleans could breach a hold in the playoff bubble. Even though I think win or lose, they're still going to be eliminated from playoff contention, no matter tiebreaker or not. And that's going to be pretty difficult to get. While I think, what do we have? Week 18 of the NFL season. Well, we still have a lot to conclude in Week 17. Of course, is Monday Night Football. Culmination of everything going into Week 17. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cleveland Browns. Two mediocre football teams that used to be papered wild card favorites, especially over Cleveland's case, with Odell getting traded on them, their pass rush not being that much impressive, their running game getting deeply carried, quarterback issues off the garb. Play calls, bro. I can't tell you how much Cleveland has struggled, especially over the walkout of Antonio Brown over the Buccaneers game. That they won, by the way. Selfish bastard Antonio Brown is. I don't care how God-given talented he is. All because he was about to break over a receiving record of his own personal militia while Buccaneers were trying to push for momentum in the playoffs in MetLife. Are you sure it's the best way to just walk over the game because you're not getting what you want, dog? I know he was close to his bonus, but that makes no sense to just walk out like that. You're still getting guaranteed cash over in the middle of the day. Just be lucky you're not doing guaranteed contracts for the MLB when they're in a lockout right now. By the way, Jaguars lost 50-10. They lost in a 40-point pimp slap. Guess who lost in a 30-point pimp slap also? We also got the Miami Dolphins getting eliminated from playoff contention, getting gobsmacked by the Titans. Another deficit that was lost by over 20 points was, of course, the Giants. Yeah, just think about it. Giants losing over 25 points to the Chicago Bears that are pushing over 6-10. Giants are already in a struggle as it is, people. It's already poor enough to watch them. You already suffer food stamps if you are even watching football. Giants football, no less. So, coming over on Week 18, we have some deciding factors if Pittsburgh even beats Cleveland. In Cleveland, loses over to the division leaders, the Bengals, if Baltimore still steps over in the plate when Tyler Huntley obviously hasn't been the key factor And this is coming over major momentum, not only beating their division, you got to give big ups to Cincinnati pushing over the plate after rebuilding last season, picking over Ja'Marr Chase. Their secondary has been highly goated over a lot of the season. Joe Burrow rally over in comebacks because they were I was watching over in the Titantron they had over at MetLife. I was at the game for the Buccaneers versus Jets where Antonio Brown walked out of just yesterday, and just seeing Ja'Marr Chase, Tyler Boyd making some terrific catches. I think Ja'Marr Chase went for 306 yards with 3 touchdown receptions. My man went off, as well as Cooper Kupp. And we have a big division rival game against our division-leading Rams, and still over the cusp of wild card contention. So this is going to be a big game. Buccaneers have nothing to prove when they beat the Panthers. It's an obvious win. Panthers been having issues with quarterback all week, and their defense hasn't been that effective. Seattle, could this be a final hurrah? They can end 7-10. Even if it is, I think Seattle has to make some major identity changes over the offseason. Patriots as well. If they can boost it up, because we know how Hard Rock Stadium has been a hostess of major Patriots upsets. Even though Tua had a shit performance against Tennessee, it was Tennessee. And whenever it comes to young teams over in their division, Patriots are always on and off. Sometimes they feel like they can win, and sometimes they feel like it's time to play like shit, like it did against Buffalo when they tied over the series in their final match because they haven't played their first game since prime time on Monday night, I think. That was a Monday night game. Saints, both teams in an average chance to still be over on playoff contention. Falcons, their passing game was legit, but most of these guys are either inexperienced, can't move over the ball. Their backfield sucks. If the Saints can keep it consistent, that I think is going to be the only thing that the Saints have. There's no reason to have it. Jets are going to lose against the Bills. Chargers, I have lost my goddamn faith with the Chargers because sometimes you think they're the next youngest team to take the AFC South. I am so sorry. The AFC West by storm, because you'd be like, Justin Herbert is amazing. Elvin Ingram's coming into a beast. The receiving core is amazing. They have a future great defensive team, and then sometimes they just piss the bed. I hope I'm not wrong. I really hope. Colts as well. Sometimes they be playing like a division-leading team the first time, and then the next time they just let the ball fall off. The only thing is that the Raiders are somehow still in playoff contention over a 9-7 record. And if that's the stint right now, it's sad to hear that the Raiders are still over in the wild card bubble if they can snatch over the Chargers to take over 7th seed in the playoff hunt. And the same thing goes if the Steelers win or the Ravens win. We all know the Browns are eliminated from playoff. They end over 7-8. Their next game won't count for shit. So won't the Broncos, so won't the Falcons. The Saints are the only team right now with a humble stint to still mark over 7th seed, but that means one team has to lose and get eliminated from playoffs. That sadly can't happen. And that's going to be tough. Because one playoff berth is available. And it's still over the Niners game. And the Saints could lose to Atlanta. It has happened. It will happen before, but they've been having QB problems all day. But Falcons have a more superior. The Saints have a more superior secondary, and sometimes it's only Cordell Patterson out there that can move out the ball. I have high doubts, and we have the Rams, so it could be safe to say that. Either way, I feel like, depending on the tiebreaker, Niners can still clinch 7th seed. And, I don't know. It's been an interesting season. A bunch of injuries, heartbreaks, comebacks, choke jobs. Just like any other NFL season. Except we didn't have that much of political controversy than we did over the past few seasons. But, we've been having some good football. And hell, who complains about more football, especially for the NFL? I mean, sure, sometimes it gets exhausted, but you can't, complain that you're having an extra opportunity for your favorite team to make the playoffs. That's just a hypocritical state of view, unless you're point of view, unless you're rebuilding or you're sick of losing money. So at least you have a chance to bet, or you have a chance to build up over your fantasy, especially if you're having your money on Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, DeAndre Swift, Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, not Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson, not DeAndre Hopkins, Mac Jones, Cordero Patterson, trying to get your money's worth. Mike not Keenan Allen. Just, try to see what you can do there with the final week of football ahead of us in the playoffs that I will talk about in a future video, hopefully. I want to get more back into sports later on in the channel, like I, of course, talked about over my final stream of the year just a few nights ago. Last year. Those jokes will always get old. Thanks for watching. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and thanks for watching the DST Show.